Hey folks, I'm Brendan and you're watching the Overqualified Henchman. This last weekend was the Toronto Comic Arts Festival, or as the cool kids call it, TCAF. TCAF is easily one of my favorite events of the year. It's not really a comic convention in the way you're probably used to thinking of it. It's all about independent and small press creators getting to show off their stuff and meet with fans. And as usual, I walked away with a ton of new books. Let's take a look at my haul. Let's start with a book that I meant to pick up last year, but at the time they only had Francophone copies left, and my French is not that good. Far Out. I'm going to prove how bad my French is by completely bungling these names, but the story is by Gontier Langevin, and the art is by Lavey-Heaton. And it's about cowboy robots! The art's obviously gorgeous, all oranges and browns with little touches of silver and gold. And the story is pure Western. A robot with no name and no past wanders into town and runs afoul of a gang war. This is volume 1, and I'm already kicking myself for not picking up volume 2 when I had the chance. I picked up a couple of zines from Megan Carter, who you might know as the creator of the webcomic Godslave. It's a kick-ass urban fantasy centered around ancient Egyptian mythology, which is why I was glad to pick up The Contendings of Horus and Set, aka Two Idiots Trying to Be King. This is a comedic retelling of the myth, or series of myths, where Horus, god of doing his best, and Set, god of kicking your ass, both try to prove that they should be the king of ancient Egypt, including the infamous lettuce incident. We don't talk about the lettuce incident. Meanwhile, Fight Me is basically a magical girl fashion zine, and it's just really cool. In a similar vein, here's the first issue of Shattered Starlight by Nicole Chartrand, also the creator of the webcomic Fae Winds. Shattered Starlight is about Farah, a 28-year-old washed-up former magical girl in Montreal who beats people up with a hockey stick. There's some cool themes here about who you were in high school and who you are as an adult, but mainly I'm in it for beating up people with a hockey stick. Queen Street by Emmanuel Chanteneuf is a semi-autobiographical story set in Sault Ste. Marie. That's a town in Ontario. It's a slice-of-life story, but what makes it really cool is that the narrative is split between two characters. A mother immigrated from the Philippines 9 years before the main part of the story, and her 7-year-old daughter who has a huge imagination. It's also got the sort of art style that really comes to life. Every once in a while I caught myself forgetting that I was reading something and not watching animation. I hadn't heard about this at all before picking it up, and it's a great example of the sort of thing I just miss out on if it wasn't for TCAF. Moving on to things I knew I was going to pick up, Volume 6 of Widdershins, Find the Lady by Kate Ashwin. I've been a fan of Ashwin since her webcomic Darken, and I got the other 5 volumes of Widdershins, but like a dummy, I missed out on the Kickstarter for this one. Widdershins is, well, it's kind of tough to describe. It's sort of a Regency, fantasy, bounty hunter, ensemble cast adventure thing. You can read it all online, but something about the color in these printed editions just pops. I'm always happy to have more Widdershins on my shelf. Then there's the big stuff. Valor. 24 fairy tale inspired short stories by 24 creators, all starring women. Now, the Valor collection was edited by the creators of the webcomic Namesake. That's Isabelle Melicone and Megan Lavey-Heaton. I got to hear Melicone talk a little bit about the collection, and the inspiration was that even though fairy tales are considered, for girls, largely because of Disney movies, in a lot of cases the women are there as damsels, or the moral is that they should stay at home and do what they're told. Valor is all about stories with women as heroes and protagonists, and it's amazing to see so many creators at the absolute top of their game. If you're looking to pick up anything I talked about today and you want the absolute best bang for your buck, you want Valor. Finally, from Chapter House, I picked up a compendium of Leo Bichel's Johnny Canuck, comics from 1942 to 1946. Johnny Canuck is basically Captain America, but without the costume and a little bit of Indiana Jones thrown in. Like, the panel on the back has him crashing into a room and knocking over a jar labeled brain serum. If that doesn't catch your interest, I don't know what to tell you. Johnny Canuck! Johnny Canuck, Canada's answer to Nazi oppression, is now devoting his great physical powers for the destruction of Hitler's forces in Libya. Johnny Canuck, while on a reconnaissance flight over the Libyan jungle, runs into a German patrol. Although greatly outnumbered, he noses his plane and dives on his unsuspecting prey. This is a great slice of both Canadian and comics history, in a really nicely executed collection, too. Oh, and while I was there, I got the first issue of Motor Crush, signed by Babs Tarr and Brendan Fletcher, but Cameron Stewart wasn't at the booth when I swung by. Mr. Stewart, I will find you. They're the same creative team from the very popular Batgirl of Burnside run, and it's nice to see them let loose on a creator-owned project. Would you believe that's not even everything I wanted to pick up? TCAF is amazing, but a guy's gotta draw the line and the bank account somewhere. Thanks for watching. If you made it out to TCAF, let me know in the comments below what you picked up. And if not, let me know which of the books I talked today you're thinking about picking up yourself. You can see my video for last year's TCAF on my channel, and while you're at it, maybe think about subscribing. Until next time. Keep on henching and keep reading comics. Of course he punches Hitler. What kind of question is that?